Tata. At doon nyo dadalhin din o dinala yung 3 foreign PDLs kasama nung 2.
Pwede po magpaliwanag, Your Honor.
Ano ipapaliwanag mo, iho? Wala pa naman akong ang tinatanong ko. Hindi ba ganun ang nangyari?
Ang pag-a-assign po kasi
Akala ko ba hindi ka duty kaya hindi mo alam?
Nung August 13 po ako hindi duty, Your Honor. Nung Sabado. Kaya Sabado-Linggo man po ang
Kaya nga,
rest day ko.
Huwag ka nang umiwas, iho, at sabit ka rin. Sinasabi ko na sa iyo. Kasi yung mga circumstances would point to the fact na kaya ko nga tinanong nung araw na yon, ilan ang Bartolina? Ang sagot mo, 6. 3 malaki, 3 maliit. At tinanong ko, ilan ang mga taong nandun? Sinasabi mo nga, sobra, punong-puno. Ang tanong ko sunod, bakit doon sa selda number 6, dadalawa lang nandun, hindi nyo inilagay yung sobra doon? Kasi may plano kayo.
Pwede po magpaliwanag, Your Honor.
Hindi naman kita hinihinga ng paliwanag eh.
Sorry po.
Ang sinasabi ko, kung ano ang sinagot mo sa akin nung tinatanong kita. Di ba? Hindi ba katotohanan o nagsisinungaling ba ako?
Hindi po, Your Honor.
O, totoo lahat yung sinabi ko.
Yes
Kasi
po.
yun ang sagot mo sa akin noon.
Yes po, Your Honor.
Di ba? So huwag ka nang umiwas. Kasi talagang kasama sa plano na sa selda number 6 ng Bartolina, doon dadalhin yung 2 local PDLs at saka yung 3 foreign PDLs. At doon sila pinatay. Di ba? Ang report ninyo, ano to? Naglaban sila. Yun ang report ninyo. That's why they were charged for homicide. Pero hindi nyo alam, it worked against your favor because according to PDG Director General Lasso, there is always a time for reckoning. I think the reckoning is now.
Correct.
Mr. Chair, may I move that the NBI should conduct an investigation and get all the pieces of evidence and documents given to this committee so that they can file the necessary charges against those people who should be charged because of this crime, Mr. Chair. So move, Mr. Chair.
Second, there is a motion to direct the NBI to conduct a thorough investigation on the death that happened in the Davao Penal Colony, and it was duly seconded. Are there any objections? Hearing none, the motion is carried. Thank you,
Mr. Chair.
Congressman Akop. Before that, please allow the chair to ask just very short questions kay Colonel Leonardo. Last hearing, we asked you to submit your SALN, and you have submitted that to the committee. I have it here with me. And dito sa iyong SALN, sinabit mo dito ay yung year 2021, ang iyong net worth ay lumalabas na 6.6 million pesos. Is that correct?
Correct, Mr. Chair.
You have the copy of your SALN there, no?
Wala po akong kopya ang dala.
Comsec, can you provide him a copy of his document that he submitted? Matanong ko lang, is your wife working? Does she work? Or what does your wife do?
Sa bahay lang po, Mr. Chair.
So, siya housewife?
Opo.
No business?
Maliit na business lang po, Mr. Chair. Kasama niya yung daughter ko.
So, your daughter has a business?
Yes po, Mr. Chair.
Pwede bang malaman ano yung business?
Meron pong car wash lang po, sir.
Saan
car
ito?
wash.
Sa Manila?
Sa Davao po, Davao.
Sa Davao?
Davao po.
Okay. Pwede bang malaman ano ibig sabihin itong Sarleon Logistics? Nakalagay dito, you were asked kung ano yung iyong business interest at saka ano yung financial connections mo. Ang nilagay mo rito are Sarleon Logistics in Davao. Nature of business, interest and financial connection, personal. What is this Sarleon Logistics, Colonel?
At tracking po nung araw yan, Mr. Chair, nalugi rin po, Mr. Chair, nahinto po.
Nahinto?
Ang nagmamanage po niyan, yung anak ko rin po.
Yung alin yung?
Yung anak ko rin po, yung anak ko po ang nagmamanage. Tracking business po yan. Naka-under subcontract po sa LBC, yung pong nagdi-deliver ng mga cargos po.
So, nagde-deliver ng cargos from the pier to the port? From the port?
LBC po. LBC warehouse. Door to door po namin. Ganun po.
Okay. So, truck ito. Ilang pirasong truck ito?
Meron pong, sa naalala ko lang po nung panahon na yan, meron pong mga L300, meron pong more or less po mga 6, Mr. Hindi po ako sure kasi hindi po akong nag-manage dahil ako po ay nagtatrabaho pa po nung araw.
Pero family business nyo to?
Sort of, Mr. Chair.
Bakit sort of? Hindi 100% sa inyo?
Kasi po yung misis ko nagbigay po ng konting puhunan din, hindi lamang po solo ng anak ko nung mag-asawa siya, Mr. Chair.
Pero ito ay negosyo ng misis mo at ng anak mo?
Bali sa anak po, kaya lang may share lang po itong aking...
Si misis. Okay. Ilan ba anak mo, Colonel?
2 po.
Okay. Dito sa yung SALN, yung sinubmit mo on ang date ay 2021, ang iyong net worth ay 6.6 million. Can you confirm that?
Opo, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Pagdating naman ng 2022, ang net worth mo ay tumaas ng 8,150,000 pesos. Tumaas ka ng mahigit almost 2 million pesos. Tama po ba? Can you confirm that?
Opo, Mr. Chair.
Pwede bang matanong kung ano kaya ang dahilan? Ba't tumaas yung iyong net worth?
Nadagdagan po kasi yung aking ito pong IT equipments po.
Nadagdagan
yung mga gadgets, mga cellphone, IT equipment, laptop po. Nadagdagan din po ako ng 2020 na ano po. Ayun din pala.
Hindi naman tumaas yung
cash.
Kung ano yung dinagdag mo, kung ano yung sinabi mo rito, na iyong personal properties, gaya ng IT equipment, laptop, cellphone, guns, firearms, cash at motorcycle, BMW, GS1 250, furnitures and fixtures, hindi naman nagbago noong 2021 at saka noong 2022. Saan banda tumaas yan?
Mr. Chair,
Never mind. I'll just give you a...
baka namali lang po ng Mr. Chair.
Okay, sige. Baka nga namali. That is
kasi po,
2021 at saka 2022. Pero itong 2023, yung 8.150 million mo ay naging 9.150 million. Hindi naman siguro maring nagkamali ito. Kernel, kasi mula noong 2021, from 6.6 million to 2023, naging 9.150 million. So, meron kang increase. Halos taon-taon, tumataas ang iyong net worth. So, bibigyan kita ng panahon para makasagot ka sa committee ito. Sa susunod na hearing, ihanda mo lang ang iyong tanong kung bakit tumaas ang iyong net worth.
Opo, Mr. Chair.
Okay, sige. Salamat. Now, since Congressman,
Briefly lang.
Congressman Fernandez.
Because we have invited Mr. Manuel Mogato from Reuters, no? The last time that we have invited him ay during sa committee ng human rights. Unfortunately, Colonel Patay is not around right now because we remember in the last hearing that we conducted, you mentioned about those not petty crimes, but those small crime that was committed in accordance with General Rodriguez, yung namatay na general, na nagsabi sa iyo,
Hindi po Rodriguez, Your Honor.
General
Mendoza.
Mendoza, mentioned, no, about doon sa mga killings that are being paid 10,000, 20,000, and so forth. Can you kindly reconfirm, Mr. Mogato, yung tema nung iyong report during the time that you have interviewed Colonel Patay? But surely, in the next hearing, Colonel Patay will be going to be here. Sige, go ahead, Mr. Mogato.
Your Honors, good evening po. No? Maraming salamat at I was invited again. And for the record, I just want to clarify that I'm not a member of Rise Up. Kasi sa COMSEC, member ako ng Rise Up. So I just want to clarify. Ano po ako, journalist ng dati ng Reuters. So, ang ginawa po ng Reuters, gumawa po siya ng maraming storya, at least 10 special reports from April 2016 up to December 2017. 10 reports po yan, special reports about the drug war ni Pangulong Duterte. And in the final report in December, we said that the PNP has, at that time, si General Bato, ang PNP chief, has personally handpicked several policemen assigned in the Davao area, Davao region, including Colonel Patay, at that time, who was from Tagum, and assigned them in Station 6 in Quezon City, sa Batasan. And for several months that they were in Quezon City, naging ground zero po ng EJK o ng drug war killings yung Quezon City. At more than 100 people were killed during those times. No? And na-interview po si Colonel Patay nung kasama ko, ni Andrew Marshall, when he was already assigned in Pampanga as CIDG, no? Hindi na po siya sa Quezon City. And yung sa aming investigation, no, meron po silang social media accounts, ito mga member ng Davao Boys, ang tawag namin, na nagmamalaki sila na kung ang drug addiction daw o drug problem ng ating bansa a disease, sila daw po ang cure. At may isa pa lang sabi na ano bang special skills nyo, bakit kayo nila sa Quezon City? At sinasabi ng isa na ang special skills daw nila ay kill. No? So, lahat po nung na records nung at that time, nung 2016, masyado pong mapait ang ating PNP sa mga reporters. Lahat po ng kanilang progress report, special report, mga ballistic report, autopsy report, ibinibigay po sa ating mga reporters. Kaya nakapag-compile po kami ng maraming reports galing sa pulisya all over Metro Manila. Lahat ng drug war killings. At gumawa po kami ng report na minamap po namin kung saan nangyayari yung mga patayan at yun po, karamihan sa mga patayan ay nangyayari sa Caloocan, sa Manila, sa Manaba at sa Quezon City. Sa Quezon City, ang pinakamaraming pangyayaring patayan ay doon po sa Station 6, kung saan si Colonel Patay yung commander at that time. So, dahil po dyan, yung aming report nakatawag ng pansin. Actually, Your Honors, hindi lang po ang Reuters ang gumagawa ng drug war stories. Lahat po ng media, local at foreign, ay gumagawa po ng drug war stories. Pero kami lang po ang nagtiyaga na magsulat mula umpisa hanggang dulo para pakita na sinasabi namin na ang mga pumapatay, pati yung sinasabi nilang riding in tandem at vigilante, ay pwedeng pulis din po ang gumagawa.
In other words, Mr. Mogato, you were saying that you have a direct communication with the different station commanders all over the NCR during that time?
Nung simula
Dahil
po,
meron kayong parang text group?
Wala pong text group. Kasi binibigay po nila yung report yung kopya.
So in other words, lahat ng mga
Nung una po,
killings.
from July 2016 hanggang December 2016, napakabait po ng ating mga pulis at sinishare po nila lahat ng data. Kasi pag may patayan po sa gabi, sumasama po yung mga reporter, hindi lang po Reuters, lahat po ng mga photographers at reporters, sumasama po sa mga punerarya na may pick up ng patay. So hindi lang po yung namatay sa nanlaban, pati yung mga itinatapon sa mga vacant lots, no?
So,
Yung mga may masking tape, may mga karatula.
So, kailan siya natigil? Kailan sila nagigpet sa mga reporters on not relating anymore those reported killings?
Pagdating po ng Abril 2017, nung mag-file po ng kaso si Senator Trillanes sa ICC, nagsara na po ang gripo ng ating PNP. Wala na po silang binibigay na report sa amin. Pati po yung pamilya ng mga biktima ay hindi na rin binibigyan ng report.
Pero sino nagsabi sa inyo, Mr. Mogato, na ang presyo po doon sa mga personalidad na papatayin nagre-range from 20,000 to 60,000? Kasi you were saying before, di ba, meron kayong sinasabi na sinabi sa inyo ni General Mendoza.
Si General Mendoza po kasi gumawa siya ng isang special report on EJK na sinabit niya po sa CBCP at that time. Ang alam ko, ang pinagbigay niya ng kopya ay si Father Intengan.
Si Archie. Si Father Archie Antenga ng Ateneo?
Opo. Kasi doon po kami nag-meeting sa opisina ni Father Archie sa Ateneo. Doon po namin ini-interview si General Mendoza. So doon po so binibigay po niya yung nabigay niya sa amin report. At sa report niya may reward list, nagsisimula po sa 10,000 pesos sa ordinaryong drug user or courier or street peddler. So 10,000 po. Pagka medyo may posisyon, barangay captain o mayor, tumataas po yung presyo.
Magkano pag mayor po?
Ang alam ko parang 50,000 po.
Pag congressman?
Ay, wala po eh.
Wala naman na.
Hindi ko po alam kung may member ng Congress na involved.
Anyway, meron din po kayo sinabi na active pa yung isang PNP ngayon na nandito po sa loob ng ating pong PNP organization. Pero during that time, you were not able to reveal it, correct?
Opo, kasi meron po kaming pangako doon sa police officer na hindi po namin siya bibigay identity. Kasi alam niyo po, yung mga reporters po, kami mga journalists, nabubuhay sa trust ng aming mga sources. So ayaw po namin sirain yon. Yung active officer po na yon, ibinigay po sa amin ni General. Kasi nalaman po ng mga editors ko na hearsay lang po yung report ni General. Kasi hindi po siya yung actual na nakakaalam. Nung Oplan double barrel at nung kalakaran o nung reward list, Kaya sabi namin, kung pwede mo kaming ipakilala dun sa iyong source na mismong nakakaalam ng kalakaran. Kaya isinama po niya sa isang meeting sa isang restaurant sa Green Hills itong active duty na PNP officer para ikwento sa amin yung kalakaran. Pati yung sinasabi ng polis na, kasi nga, nung unang panahon, pagka nagkakaroon lang ng laban, hindi lahat namamatay, may tumatayo. No? Kung maalala nyo, may pinakita kayong video kay Murillo na nabuhay siya. No? So, because of that, nag-meeting uli yung mga PNP ang sinabing, huwag nyo nang buhayin yung mga suspect. So, meron po kaming storya na ginawa yung dead on arrival. Kasi nga po, pinapatay na yung mga drug war victim bago pa dumating na ospital. At paano po namin nalaman na pinapatay? Kasi sa autopsy report, lumalabas na yung mga tao po ay binaril ng mga lapitan. Paano po malaman na binaril ng mga lapitan? Kasi meron pong tattooing sa katawan at sa ulo yung mga biktima. Kasi kung nagkaroon po ng encounter o labanan, wala po yung tattooing kasi malayo eh. No? Malayo po yung, wala pong gunpowder burns dun sa katawan ng namamatay. Ito po, sabi ng doktor, malapit. No? Kasi nga may tattooing. At pati yung trajectory ng bullets, hindi nagsasuggest na may encounter. So talagang tinutuloy na po yung mga ilang drug war victims para hindi na mabuhay at tumayo. Kasi maraming insidente na tumatayo yung kanilang nabaril pag dumarating na yung soko para mag-imbestiga.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, kasi we have already somehow established yung killings doon sa correctional. And this time, this is something that we have to focus as well. Dahil marami po yung mga biktima na namatayan. According sa kanina kay Mr. Jokno, more than at least a little bit of 20,000 no? Ang naging biktima po nitong Dragon War. And basically, Mr. Mugato, we will be inviting you over again, no? Kapag andito na po si Colonel Patay. And I hope that Colonel Patay will somehow have a change of heart, no? And reveal everything in this Quadcom for us to really see and peret talaga yung katotohanan, no? And kay naman po kay Ma'am Garma, can we also require you to submit your SALN during your incumbency as GM of the PCSO? Can we expect to submit that to us in the next hearing? Yes, thank you. And also, sa natin, sa PNP, I think Colonel Villela is still active, ano? Nasa Krami po ba si Villela?
Yes, Your Honor. Karami pa daw.
What ano po siya? Directorate? DITCM ba siya?
ITMS. ITMS, sir.
ITMS.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
so please, his presence is required in the next hearing.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Siguro for now, Mr. Chairman, yun lang po muna. Naging pulis at attaché ba siya sa New York?
Sa Washington daw, sir.
Ha?
Washington.
Sa Washington?
Sa Washington.
Naging, how many years siya naging police attaché sa Washington?
I don't know the exact, maybe 2 to 3 years, maybe.
3 taon siya.
Maybe, sir. Hindi ako
So,
sure, sir.
nag-stay sa Washington.
Yes, sir.
Alright. That's the reason why.
Mr. Chair,
Alright. Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman.
meron lang po
Congressman
akong katanungan kay Attorney Conti, kung maaari.
Please proceed.
Okay. Attorney Conti, we have received the data for the Committee on Human Rights from Police Brigadier General Matthew Bakay, no? Nakalagay po dito lahat ng mga suspect, lahat ng mga napatay na tinawag nilang died, no, instead of killed. Dito po ay nakalagay din ang cases ng marami sa kanila. Nagsimula kay Kian de los Santos case, ano? And Kian Lloyd de los Santos, nakalagay po dito, 17 years old, May 26, 2000 yata pinanganak, date of birth, grade 11 student, taga Caloocan City, at nakalagay din dito yung tatlong suspect, no? May I know if you are aware of this, if you know about this?
I am aware, Your Honor, because of the publicity surrounding the case, and although we are not the handling lawyers, in this case, Your Honor, there already has been a conviction of some police officers.
But the conviction is a homicide conviction.
Yes, Your Honor, yan po yung problema natin, laging
Not
napatay.
not a murder conviction.
Yes, Your Honor, ang problema, napatay, hindi pinatay.
Mr. Chair, I would like just to manifest here that all of those suspects, the police suspects, were actually charged with homicide, not murder. Kahit na po ang mga suspect ay hindi po nanlaban at walang baril. Yet, to show that the Philippine National Police is actually doing their job, sila mismo ang nag-file ng charge, pero ang charge po instead of murder, homicide. Alam po naman natin, ang homicide, ilang taon lang yan, Attorney Conti, no?
To 8 years?
2 years.
8 po. 8.
8 years. And do they give a certain amount of money to the victims, for example?
Yes, Your Honor. If the court deems civil damages as due the victims, then
Okay.
there could be civil damages up to
Who are
100,000.
the suspects here that are actually your cases?
Your Honor, I don't have a copy of the list of given by
Yeah, I will show you a
Officer
copy
Bacay.
of this. So
Yes,
you,
but if I may raise, Your Honor, at the previous hearings, we mentioned that the case that we directly handled was the one against Virgilio Cervantes et al., the most recent conviction of 4 police officers for homicide in Caloocan, Your Honor, a killing that occurred in September 2016 of a father and son.
Mr. Chair, may I request at the next hearing we have with the EJK that we also invite the loved ones of the victims of supposedly suspects, but they're not actually suspects. Ibig sabihin, we just do not want to investigate here in this committee those that were killed who are actually drug lords, but those who were killed by the Philippine National Police officers that were actually of mistaken identity, and those who were not even drug addicts. Now, of course, the Philippine National Police sent us a data also that there were 440 drug addicts that were killed when they should not have been killed. They should have been rehabilitated, Mr. Chair. I hope that next hearing you have with the AJK, that we are going to invite the loved ones of the victims, of which Attorney Conti and sino po sila, yung ano pong organization nyo?
Rise Up for Life and for Rights.
Rise Up for Life will give to us, no? So the people also will be able to know and be able to see that the AJK was not only done among those that are actually drug pushers, but even those that are quite innocent, which according to the former Director General, they were collateral damage. Just imagine, no? A lot of killings were called collateral damage, Mr. Chair, of which this representation does not actually agree. Now, Mr. Chair, I also would like to ask to please make a manifestation here and perhaps a query to Colonel Leonardo. Colonel Leonardo, nakita na tayo. I think you were assigned in Manila, correct? Even in my own district yata.
Correct po, Mr. Chair.
Yes, okay. Now, Congressman Romy Acop already related the connection between you and SPO for Narsolis. And then, we also established the connection a while ago of Colonel Garma and Art Narsolis. So, ibig sabihin, Colonel Leonardo and Colonel Garma, kayo, kilala kayo investigador sapagkat na-involve kayo sa CIDG. Yung mga connection ninyo, nagkakatagpo doon sa salaysay ng ating ni former Major Portesa, ni Tata, ni Colonel Padilla, ay nakakapagtaka naman na itinatanggi pa ni Colonel Garma ang kanyang involvement dito. Hindi lang yan, Mr. Chair. We would like also to reiterate the fact that there was indeed a reward system. That was even said by Mr. Mogato and even said by Colonel Jovi Espinido during our last hearing. And that reward system is more emphasized when even inside the double penal colony, Mr. Chair, that the PDL, Tata, and sino yung isa? Ano yung pangalan ni, si Andy, Tata and Andy, received 1 million pesos each when they should have received 3 million each for killing those 3 Chinese PDL. Am I right, Tata? Nakatanggap kayo ng tig-1 million? Oo.
Opo, Your Honor.
And they were saying in their own affidavit that the one who offered them those 1 million from Art Narsolis was actually, according to their affidavit, was given from Colonel Garma, I would think. Di ba? Na find out natin sa mga salaysay ninyo. You see that? Of course, Colonel Garma would deny that, di ba? Pero ito I just would like to establish the connection. The fact is this. Art Narsolis is related to Colonel Garma. Art Narsolis is personally known to Colonel Leonardo. Art Narsolis is the classmate of Tata. Colonel Garma is the classmate of Major Portesa. There is a real connection here. And so, napakahirap mga paniwalaan ang kasinungalingan na nangyayari dito. Mr. Chair, yun lamang. And I would like to thank the Rise Up and Reverend here, and of course, Attorney Conti. Kanina si Attorney Chel Joknower was here, no? Salamat po sa pagpunta ninyo, and your presence here is quite important to us. Thank you very much, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Congressman Abante. Yeah, we asked the Attorney Conti of the National Union of People's Lawyer, and Rise Up for Life and for Rights. We asked Mr. Manuel Mogato. And now we'd like to ask Attorney Joel Butuyan, a member of the Center for International Law or Center Law, for his statement. Please give us your short statement, Attorney Butuyan.
Thank you, Your Honor. Your Honor, we commend this committee for the investigation that it is doing, because the evidence that is being unearthed from this investigation is very crucial, it's pivotal, and it's key to the ongoing ICC investigation, Your Honor. I have no doubt, Your Honor, that if the evidence that's being unearthed in this investigation reaches the ICC, it will hasten the issuance of warrants of arrest, Your Honor. That's why I'm asking, Your Honor, if it's possible for even just the resource persons to have access to the minutes of the proceedings, as well as the sworn statements that have been submitted as part of the investigation, Your Honor, if that's possible, Your Honor.
Attorney Butuyan, the committee has been asked several times whether the transcript, the TSN, can be used or can be accessed by anyone for the use of ICC. We are not in any way going to provide data or transcript of records to the ICC because we stand by the statement of our president that we are not member of the ICC. However, since this public hearing have been openly accessed by the public in all social media platforms, you can probably access that through the different platforms available.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. By the way, Attorney Butuyan is a former law partner of Attorney Harry Roque, correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you.
Is it former, Mr. Chair, or still present? Not anymore, huh?
We parted ways in 2017, Your Honor.
Because Attorney Roque is no longer a human rights lawyer.
Yes, Your Honor.
He is now a political lawyer.
We parted ways in 2017, Your Honor.
They parted ways in 2017, according to Attorney Butuyan. Thank you, Attorney.
Mr. Chair?
Yes, Attorney Conti.
Yes, I'm sorry, Mr. Chair, but if I may be allowed, thank you very much for this opportunity again, and you may rely on our continued participation in these proceedings. But we'd also like to invoke the memory of several of the victims. In Cebu, Your Honor, one of the volunteers of Rise Up for Life and for Rights was actually
Mr. Chair,
killed.
may I request Attorney Conti to perhaps mention the names of
Yes,
those?
Your Honor. A volunteer of Rise Up for Life and for Rights was killed in Cebu City under curious circumstances. There is no investigation into the case. Butch Rosales was killed August 10th, 2018. This was during the time of one of our resource persons here. And I'd also like to recall the two young men who were killed during the one-time big-time operations in October 2018. Rabi Lopez and Angelito Rosales. Their mothers were here on July
Mr. Chair, it happened
25th.
in Cebu City.
In Cebu City, Your Honor,
Who was
October
the station
4th,
Who was the
2018.
station commander then? Who was this chief of police in Cebu City then?
The chief of police, actually, Your Honor, was the resource person, Regina Garma. And I would like to reiterate or to echo the statement of the mother of Rabi Lopez.
Go ahead,
because
please.
among us, Your Honor, there was one person here who was present during the wake of Rabi Lopez. The mother of Rabi, Raquel, says that at the wake, Regina Garma, who was chief of police of Cebu City, and her police officers came to their place. She was enraged and she hollered out and strutted around. And she was angry at them for holding awake on the death of her son. And ngano daw gibilaran akong anak. And she was telling them that why is there only one dead? There are many of them here. This was in the context
Mr.
of...
Chair, who was enraged?
Regina Garma, Your Honor, according to Raquel Lopez. The sworn statement of Ms. Lopez has been submitted to the committee, Your Honor.
Mr. Chair,
Mr. Chair,
can we,
may I ask Colonel Garma? May I ask, do you remember that incident, Colonel Garma? Again, you will deny it.
Mr. Chair,
My
I cannot
goodness,
recall
that is
the
already a
details.
testimony. You're going to deny it? You're impossible. Go ahead.
I'm just going to ask, Madam, can you kindly invite that person to appear on the next hearing?
We will try, Your Honor, to fly them in again, Your
Yeah,
Honor.
please. Okay, thank you. And at the same time, I'll take this opportunity, Mr. Chair, to invite also Major Mary Jane O. Hastro. GM, you know this personality? Major Mary Jane O. Hastro of PNP.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
You know her?
Yes.
We will be inviting over Major Mary Jane O. Hastro. And you know also Attorney Carol K. Paquera.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
She's your Chief of Staff.
Yes, Mr.
And
Chair.
the cousin of Narsolis.
Yes, Mr.
We'll
Chair.
be inviting over also the COS of the former GM Garma on the next hearing. Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you,
Mr.
Congressman
Chair, are
Fernandez.
there other victims in Cebu City that you would like to mention, Attorney Conti?
Those are the victims from Cebu, but we have a motley of other victims, Your Honor. We will endeavor to invite them at the next hearing, Your Honor. Thank you very much.
So, Mr. Chair, although we are, you could be able to invite them in the next hearing that we have here. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Attorney Conti. Thank you, Congressman Bante. We also invited the Chair of the Commission on Human Rights, Attorney Richard Palpalatok. You're still up. Would you like to
Yes, Your Honor.
make a statement?
We'll just communicate with the committee, Your Honor, because we raised during the last hearing of the Committee on Human Rights on EJK, Your Honor, we raised some issues concerning our investigations, the problem we encountered during the investigation conducted by the Commission with the Philippine National Police, particularly on the sharing of the reports of deaths during the operations of the police, Your Honor. So perhaps we will be seeking the help and support of the committee, Your Honor, in that regard. We will just be sending our letter.
Please send your
Mr.
letter
Chair,
to the committee.
may I just ask how many have you investigated so far?
The commission, Your Honor, have recorded 3,700 deaths. These are motu proprio investigation, Your Honor, conducted by the commission. And this is composed of deaths in deaths in police operations, and some are deaths unidentified assailants, Your Honor.
Mr. Chair, can the commission give to us the list of those investigated, including when they were killed, who were the station commanders then, or the chief of police?
We will do that, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you, Congressman Abante. Are you done, Attorney?
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you.
Maraming salamat. So for the NGOs, may we ask you to submit the supplemental statement to the Joint Committee in addition to your statements made in the Committee on Human Rights hearing. I'm sure you have a transcript of that. And we'd like to ask also Father Manuel Gatchalian if you have anything to say, Father.
Unang-una po, kagustuhan po ng mga nanay na pinangangatawanan po namin, yung mga biktima, na sana po ay panagutin at bayaran ang mga biktima sapagkat from the point of view of the victims, hanggang ngayon 8 taon na nakalilipas, wala naman po silang natatanggap at
Pakilapit po, para marinig po namin.
Dahil lang po sa nawalan sila ng breadwinner, nawalan sila ng minamahal sa buhay, at sila ay mahihirap. At sana po sa pagdating ng panahon, kung sakaling mapatunayan na state-sponsor dito, at para hindi matuloy ang impunity, ibig sabihin na patuloy ang patayan, ay kinakailangan panagutin at bayaran po nila ang mga biktima. Kung sakali magkaroon man po ng batas, o sakali mapatunayan na ito ay state-sponsored at saka may mga talagang quota system rewarding, sana po naman mabigyan natin ng pagpapahalaga, mabayaran ang mga biktima sapagkat hanggang ngayon po sila po ay nagdurusa at may karapatan po naman sila na matamo nila ang katarungan. Salamat po.
Okay, maraming salamat po,
Mr. Chair,
Father Gatchalian.
with the manifestation of Father, a while ago, GM Karma said that during her time, that she is giving a budget to the Philippine National Police. Am I right?
Wala po akong sinabi, Mr. Chair.
Kanina meron kang sinabi na
Wala po.
binibigyan nyo ng budget ng Philippine National Police for the operations.
Wala po, Mr. Chair.
Wala kayong sinabi?
Wala
Let's
po.
look at the records, Mr. Chair, because I think that she said something that way.
Okay. Secretariat, can you check the records, the transcript? If indeed that statement was made by GM Garma.
Mr. Chair,
So,
Mr. Chair, in relation to that, I think I heard, Mr. Chair, if I may be allowed, I think I heard Colonel Garma saying about the support that you give to.
That is the allocated for the, it's a charity fund allocated
PNP,
sa sales of STL and sa PCSO.
Parang ganun po, yung
po.
STL, something about the STL.
so the fund that you provide the PNP is a charity fund.
Yes, it is in the...
And that is in the charter of the PCSO.
PCSO.
Yes, it is covered, Mr. Chair.
So, how much do you give to the PNP every year?
During my time, kasi dati, I think it's medyo malaki before I assume. And then when I assume po, and we changed the IRR, very minimal na lang po siya. I'm not sure kung 1% or 3% na lang siya compared nung previous. And